All right, so let's start this broadcast with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The American Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the state of Israel with some plans to discuss a truce deal and also for the increased flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. Antony Blinken is expected to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again. Now, earlier, Blinken had said that Israel is planning on opening a major humanitarian aid crossing into the hard-hit northern part of the Gaza Strip, in which an estimated 400,000 Palestinians still reportedly survive. The Blinken will visit the Kerem Shalom crossing and the Ashdod port in the afternoon to examine the humanitarian aid that is being brought into the Gaza Strip for the Palestinians under the watchful eye of the Israelis. He's also added that he'll be pressing Netanyahu on Gaza aid measures and ceasefire talks.
The Israelis have put a strong proposal on the table. They've demonstrated that they're willing to compromise. And now it's on Hamas. And no more delays, no more excuses. The time to act is now.
He'll later be meeting with the families of the American hostages in Tel Aviv. However, hours before he landed in the state of Israel, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has vowed to launch a ground offensive into Gaza's southernmost town of Rafah. And he said that he'll launch the ground offensive into Rafah with or without a truce deal to halt the fighting and the release of the Israeli hostages. So the question, of course, is why negotiate a truce deal if Netanyahu is bent on carrying out this ground operation into Rafah?
No ICC action will impact Israel's ironclad determination to achieve the goals of our war with Hamas terrorists. We will destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities in Gaza. We will release all our hostages, and we will ensure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again.
Now, Netanyahu is, of course, facing a lot of pressure from his far-right allies to reject a ceasefire deal with the Gaza Strip. But remember this, Israel is not offering a ceasefire in the nature in terms of how the word ceasefire is understood. What is being offered by Israel at this moment is more in the nature of a brief military pause for the exchange of hostages.
If you decide to raise a white flag and cancel the order to occupy Rafah immediately in order to complete the task of destroying Hamas and to restore security to the residents of the South and to the citizens of Israel, and to return all our abducted brothers and sisters to their home, the government headed by you will have no right to exist.
Now, Rafah is the main entry point for getting the desperately needed humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. This is where the United Nations has said that 100% of the population is at a severe level of food insecurity. Now, more than 1 million Palestinian civilians, remember, have been driven out from their homes and have now sought refuge in Rafah, with many of them living in these makeshift tent camps. And Israel has said that Rafah is Hamas's last major stronghold in the Gaza Strip. Reacting to Netanyahu, the United Nations humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths has said that a ground operation by the Israeli troops into Rafah will be a tragedy beyond words. Now, Washington has also joined calls on the state of Israel from other nations and humanitarian aid organizations to not go into Rafah with a ground offensive. They fear that an Israeli army incursion would lead to catastrophic civilian casualties, but at the same time, the Americans still continue to send arms to the state of Israel.
Look, our views on Rafah, I think, are very well known. The president's been very clear about it. I've been clear about it and repeated it as recently as yesterday. Where our focus is right now, along with the humanitarian effort, our focus right now is on getting a ceasefire and hostages home.
Now, according to the State Department's deputy spokesperson Vedant Patel, the United States has not seen a credible Israeli plan for a military operation in the southern Gaza city of Rafah that would address its concerns.
Continues to be the case that we have not seen a credible plan that would address the varying areas of concerns that you've heard me talk about a number of times from up here and others, primarily the ability to address the serious humanitarian concerns surrounding.
On the other hand, the French foreign minister has told Netanyahu that an Israeli offensive in Rafah is a bad idea. and will not resolve anything in the country's fight against Hamas. Now, France hopes for peace, prosperity and de-escalation in the Gaza Strip.
France is not abandoning Israel. It is a friend of Israel. We've had a number of political discussions over the last 3 days since I started my tour in Lebanon. I stopped off in Riyadh to have a number of political discussions over the next 40-48 hours with the Israeli authorities.
And also our correspondent from Israel, Jody Cohen, has sent us this report. Listen to what she has to say.
So US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is continuing with his West Asia trip. First of all, he visited Saudi Arabia, then he went to Jordan, and now he's in Israel. This is his 7th trip to Israel since the war began, and he's got a very busy schedule. We're hearing different reports about what he's going to be doing. He's then going to be meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Jerusalem. He's reportedly going to be meeting with War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz in a place down south in the southern Israel, near the Gaza Strip, called Yad Mordechai. We're hearing potential reports that he could meet there in a village called Be'eri, which was a real symbol of Hamas's 7th of October attack. And if he does visit there, he'll be the highest ranking US official to visit there. Now, Be'eri was heavily attacked on the 7th of October and is largely uninhabited still, and is likely not to be habitable again for another year at least. He might be meeting there with Defence Minister Gallant and Foreign Minister Katz. That remains to be seen if that goes ahead. We're also hearing reports that he could visit the Kerem Shalom crossing, which is the main commercial crossing between Israel and Gaza, and also the Ashdod port, where aid is going to be going from Israel to Gaza, and also presumably to the new Gaza pier that's being built by America and being secured by Israel. He's also going to be meeting with hostage families. Perhaps that could happen in Tel Aviv. And the reason the agenda isn't 100% set or known is because, for security reasons, the Biden administration haven't been publishing full agendas in advance of these trips. But we know that during the meetings they're likely to talk about the issue of a ceasefire, hostage release deal, the planned operation.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.